Okay guys, we finally have some official pictures and information about the reels that everyone has been waiting for. And those are the 2019 JDM Shimanos. So the rumors were true, and we're getting a new Scorpion MGL, and yes, even the rumors about an SLX MGL were true. Now let's start with what a Japanese tackle blogger predicts as what is going to be the biggest hit this year in Japan as far as reel sales, and that is the Shimano SLX MGL. And let me tell you guys, when I say Japan gets the good shit, I meant it. Now there's only 2 pics of the SLX MGL that I've found for now, but let's take a look at these specs straight from Shimano Japan's website. So you take the SLX, you give it an MGL spool in the 70 size, so it's going to be really shallow. Give the spool the S3D machining treatment, and get this, the SVS Infinity adjustable brakes. And check out this picture. Now, at first I thought that reel was a Bantam, but it's actually the new SLX. Now, if you look closely, you can tell by the frame that it's the new SLX. So if you can look at that side plate, it's going to get that Bantam style side plate and SVS Infinity brake adjustment. Now that's unreal. So you're going to be getting an aluminum frame with an MGL spool and the SVS Infinity adjustable brakes. Now this reel is replacing the CASITAS MGL, and it looks like it's going to be a giant killer just like the CASITAS was too. So just some other observations, it's going to get a more finesse-oriented handle and knobs. So no CURADO K handle and big comfy CURADO K knobs. It keeps the blue accents, but loses the big blue SLX logo on the palm plate that was so controversial. I don't think too many people really like that logo, so that's gone. Now the pricing is going to be the same as the outgoing CASITAS MGL, so to import it, it's going to cost probably around $150 depending on the exchange rate. So it should come as no surprise, I'm going to get one as soon as they come out. Okay guys, let's talk about another reel that I'm going to be getting, and a reel that may give us a hint as to what the next CURADO 200 will have, and that's the Scorpion MGL. So it looks like Shimano Japan is using the updated platform of the CURADO K, but of course the specs are a little bit better. Now the obvious difference is going to be the color. Looks like they're going with a two-tone maroonish red and black scheme for the frame and body with red accents. Now we'll have one extra bearing over the CURADO K, but of course the big news here is the MGL spool, which I thought the CURADO K was going to get when it was released a couple of years ago, but sadly it didn't. Now, not only is it an MGL spool with the MGL porting, it's going to have a smaller 150 line capacity. So it's going to hold less line, therefore reducing the inertial mass even more over the CURADO K. So it's going to be the same line capacity as the CURADO DC. So I guess you kind of figured out what's going to happen. We're going to have a CURADO DC versus Scorpion MGL cast-off battle. Now other than that, the specs are the same as the CURADO K. It's going to have the micro module gears, the SVS Infinity brakes, X-ship, etc, etc. Now interestingly enough, DAIWA is releasing the TATULA 100 in Japan, but it appears that TATULA is going to be the exact same reel that's available here in America, nothing extra or modified about it, unfortunately. So I'm definitely going to be getting one of these Scorpion MGLs to try out that MGL spool. Okay guys, let's talk about the new Antares. Now it looks like they're just calling it the Antares, not the Antares MGL, which I actually prefer because the Antares name needs no extra letters to let you know it's a top-of-the-line reel. Now the big news here is the new MGL-3 spool. So here's some pictures of this spool. Now the thing about the MGL-3 spool is that they made it really narrow, as you can see. The standard Shimano spool width is 22 millimeters, but the new MGL-3 spool of the Antares is only 19 millimeters wide. So that's even thinner than their finesse-oriented reels like the ALDEBARAN and the Scorpion 70. Now, you can see the big difference in these pictures compared to what I believe is a BANTAM spool. Now this will decrease the friction angle to the level line even more. Now, as you can see, this MGL-3 spool doesn't seem to have that sidewall porting that the other MGL spools have. Now Shimano emphasized what they call exhilarating casting experience with this new Antares, but we'll have to see once the videos of this reel are released. Now, other changes are it will have the newer SVS Infinity style brakes, so sadly no new braking system, but that SVS Infinity adjustment dial is the best looking one I've seen yet. It definitely looks top of the line. Now the good news is that since they made the spool smaller, it was possible to make the body of the reel smaller too. As you can see it next to the BANTAM, which is a tiny reel, it looks really comparable in size. So because of all this, I think I'm going to try to get one eventually, if I save enough money, of course. Okay, it's time to talk about the new Calcutta Conquest DC. A reel that really needed an updating, because I think the last time they came out with a new updated Conquest DC was way back in 2009, so 10 years ago basically. So there's really not much to say other than it appears to be the standard Conquest with DC brakes and a silver color scheme now. And of course the porting is a little bit different on the top bar. Now the old Conquest had the 3x8 DC brake system that had 24 total adjustments. Now this new Conquest DC on paper appears to have a lesser DC system. They're basically using a slightly different version of the IDC5 system on this Conquest, which is really disappointing in my eyes, as it's going to have even less adjustments at a total of 15. Now the big difference is that instead of an automatic mode that the Scorpion DC and the METANIUM DC have in their IDC5 systems, it's going to have a wind mode that they claim will cast even non-aerodynamic lures into a strong wind with good distance. But still, in my opinion, this super expensive Conquest DC will basically have the same brakes as the much cheaper Scorpion DC. Now it seems to me like Shimano are getting kind of lazy in their development of their awesome DC technology. Now if they aren't careful, once and if their patents expire on this digital braking technology, their arch rivals DAIWA may have something cooking and waiting in the wings that will one-up the DC system if that ever happens. So other than the brakes, it will get an MGL spool, so it seems like Shimano is giving the MGL spool treatment to all its bait casting reels, just as DAIWA is giving the SB treatment to all their bait casting reels. So based on this info on the Conquest DC and the fact that I'm not really a fan of round reels after buying the Conquest BFS, I don't think I'll be getting one of these.
承諾します。商品の挙手しました。